Hi, I'm Dr. Ellen Antoine, and I own Vine Healthcare with my husband, Scott. And we are integrative functional medicine physicians, and I love using visuals to describe the type of medicine I do. Because when I tell someone I do functional integrative medicine, they don't really know what that is. And I started my career as a board-certified emergency medicine physician, and I absolutely love doing it. And I love what I do now, where I do functional integrative medicine. So I love thinking about the body as if we're a plant in a flower pot. So we've got this beautiful flower, and we've got this flower pot. And to me, this kind of represents our natural body. We take our watering can, and normally we water our plant. So we pour the water into our plant, and you can see hopefully at the bottom that we've got some water pouring out the bottom through those holes. And to me, this is the way the body's supposed to work. Stuff pours into our body by choice or not. We choose what we eat and drink, so this is what's represented in the water here, but we don't choose things like toxins, stress, infections, and unfortunately, most of us have more than just a watering can. We've got what I describe as a fire hose, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. In the bottom of this flower pot, we've got holes where the water was draining through, and to me, this is what naturally represents our detox processes. So these holes represent our body's ability to get rid of the stuff we don't need. The plant absorbs the water it does need, and it drains out the holes, the excess water it doesn't need. So we urinate, we have bowel movements, we sweat, we exhale. Our liver's constantly going through a process called biotransformation. We have lymphatic drainage going on in the body, and I consider sleeping and dreaming this mental detox. And some of us have nice big holes in the bottom of our flower pot. We're able to get rid of stuff well. Some of us don't detox so well. We don't hydrate enough, we don't move our bowels, which by the way, we should be doing at least once a day. We don't know anything about lymphatic drainage. We don't really realize that our liver requires specific nutrients to go through what's called phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. We don't sleep enough, and so we're not optimizing our detox processes. So as I mentioned, in an ideal world, we've got this beautiful watering can. We water our plant, it absorbs what it needs, and it drains out those holes, the excess water we don't need, and that leaves this beautiful, healthy body. But in reality, most of us have what I call a fire hose, and here I'll demonstrate with the sink hose here. So if we turn this on and we pour this into our flower pot, all of a sudden, it's not coming out the holes in the bottom anymore. As you can see, we have this huge puddle. And traditional medicine's approach to this puddle which represents the things why people come to see me. Our bodies can't manage all the foods that we eat, which aren't good for us, all the toxins we're exposed to, all the infections, all the stressors. And so we overwhelm this beautiful flower pot, and we end up with this puddle on the floor. And traditional medicine's approach is what I say is represented here in, usually say a mop, but for the demonstration here, I've got this little brush, and we're sitting here mopping up the floor. But in reality, I turned the hose off, but in reality, we've got that hose still going. So we're sitting here with this big puddle on the floor, and traditional medicine's approach is, oh, you've got a problem. You have pain, you have cancer, you have autoimmune disease, you've got some psychological issues, something, you're sleep deprived, you've got insomnia, some symptom, which is why people come to see us. I don't feel good, or I've been given a diagnosis that I don't want. And what has been offered by the traditional medicine community is, here, let's take something for your insomnia, take a sleeping pill, or here's your cancer treatment, or here's your treatment for your thyroid disease, or take this prescription medication to control your child's ADHD, something like that. And what I will tell you is I'm not anti-mop. As an ER doc, I loved being an ER doc. I was really good at mopping up the floor. If you come in and you have a heart attack, you know what? I want to stop it. I want to, address the current issue, and I want to make sure you don't die of it. And I will tell you, even in chronic disease, a mop works. I'm not anti-traditional medicine. I have thyroid disease, and I like to joke and say I have a mop, but I keep it in a mop closet. I don't have an ongoing issue. I don't have an ongoing puddle on the floor. And so from my perspective, functional integrative medicine addresses what's pouring into the body and the way the body manages it while mopping up the floor. And so we have to identify what's in this flower, watering can? What's in the hose, if you will, that's pouring in? What are the things that are either positively or negatively impacting your health? You've got to identify those things. If you identify things that are negatively impacting your health, you have to reduce them. We've got to turn the hose down. We can't expect to get better if we're continuing to bombard the system. And then when we look at the flower pot itself, those holes, as I mentioned, represent our natural detox processes. We have to optimize the way the body detoxes, the way the body gets rid of things. And I would say the flower pot itself is structural support. We've got to take care of our bodies. Otherwise, this plant would just be a whole big pile of dirt on the counter right now. We've got to structurally take care of not just our muscles and our bones, but our cell membranes, our mucous membranes, so our GI tracts are healthy. And inside that dirt represents our nutrients, our hormones, our chemicals that communicate inside the body. Our immune system has to be supported. Everything inside there has to be supported. And I would say from a structural standpoint and an immune standpoint to support the body, we also need, there's a stake in the ground here holding up this beautiful orchid. It is personal support. We need people in our lives. We need someone to lean on to hold us up during this process. And this is what our 5-step fully functional approach is all about. Identify those underlying root issues, reduce anything that's negatively impacting your health, optimize your body's natural ability to detox, either carve out new holes or clean out the dirt and junks and rock that's been there from a lifestyle that's not been the healthiest, and support our body structurally, support our immune systems, and have some personal support so that we can personalize this process and internalize it and navigate our health journey differently going in the future. My goal is for everybody to become fully functional for life.